そうね。秋は終わりの季節。でも始まりの季節でもあるんだ。きっとそう。私はそう思ってるんだ。らしくないか。
Shut up and take my money.
やだ、これもいいわね。サンキュー。Oh my god。行きます。航空隊発艦始め。
No, 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 hell no, no.
この敵艦西港。
Fuck me right in the air.
沈みなさい。改装された昇格型。この程度で沈みはしません。五輪の飛行艦地は無事？私が飛散するなんて。まだまだ戦います。艦隊は大丈夫で。
The Shokaku class is what happens when Saratoga and RJ decided to have a one-stand night, but gave birth to this abomination flat. The cranes were built for one reason, to replace their old carriers, which were beginning to have enough trouble for keeping their resources healthy.
飛行甲板に直撃。そんなバカな。
One of the trays the cranes, oh I mean the turkey, to have is the handy flight deck chest, which allows for them to survive longer than those heavily armed carriers. While these chests are more handy, it puts them at a disadvantage for trying to hide with their camouflage.
車とコリが言っているのに。やだ、もう飛行甲板とお尻が。
These sisters are one of the most consistent ship, right before the American Freedom Maker came into the game, which is why they are the most useful ships in every event, even in the extra operation map.
アウトレンジで決めたよね。
To use the Elsastic turkey, you use them for air superiority and clear out those pesky enemy bitches in pre-boss node, so your fleet can advance more.
頼みます。いい？アタック。
They have the most balanced aircraft slots in the game, which means you can put wherever you want, but only if they can maintain their air power in every node they pass. They may not the best resource savior on hand, but they have a better slot distribution than those food lover carriers, along with the McDonald Obese carrier. They also have a armored carrier remodel, which makes them more survivable and reliable, especially in moderate damaged, which they can still attack more, just like the newer armored flat chest deck. Use this to your advantage, as you can have a higher chance of clearing the boss node easily.
この程度で沈みはしよう。全航空隊発艦始め。さあ始めるわ。本当に
The only thing that matters is that she's been reduced quite a number of her air power, because the game dev always want to fuck us up. That's why they reduced the air power by 17, which performs less than their standard form. But that's not all.
But wait, there's more.
They are the first and only carriers, as for now, that can equip jet-powered plane. That's right, the new golden age of ace combat warfare, which can do even more trouble than standard planes.
昇格ね。艦首風上。攻撃隊発艦始め。
Though, they are the first kind of jets to appear, and surprise bitches with their supersonic speed, but only if you are rich enough to own screws, or recover patiently enough, until you die of old age. You use this plane, whenever you want, to gain air superiority in every node, because they can trigger the first wave against enemy bitches, before the main air wave, allowing themselves for that lovely cheat for a head start air raid, plus air superiority, so they won't have a chance to fight them back.
全航空隊発艦始め。
Maybe they can change the tide of battle, either if your fleet is in good shape, or RNG just fucking hates you. In this game, some other map required high air power to deal enemy bitches in pre-node, especially in some event and extra operation map. So you put your bombers on the highest number of slots, so they won't run out of bombers to deal in boss node, especially those jet planes. Always bring your anti-airships, so they wouldn't lose plane in every node.
アウトレンジで決めたよね。うりゃ
They may not be the best boss killer for heavily armored boss in event, but they are best for sweeping few less armor ships, so all of your fleet can focus down the boss.
交換パンこじれたし
Also, don't even go YOLO, or you will salute above the deck while sinking with the ship. This is how you set up your turkey. You equip her with 3 dive bombers or torpedo bombers in her first slot, up to 3rd slot, and 1 fighter plane. Or 1 dive bombers or torpedo bombers on her first slot, because this slot have the highest capacity, and 3 fighter plane. Or 2 torpedo bombers or dive bombers and 2 fighter plane. Or 4 carrier cut-in mechanics. You equip her with 2 torpedo bombers on her first and second slot, 1 dive bomber, and 1 fighter plane. Or 1 torpedo bombers on first slot, 1 dive bombers, and 2 fighter plane. As for CVB remodel, 1 or 2 dive bombers or torpedo bombers on first slot, and 2 fighter planes. Or 1 torpedo bombers on first slot, 1 dive bombers, and 2 fighter plane for carrier mechanics. Or if you are rich enough to afford supersonic jet, you equip her with 1 ace combat plane on her first slot, 1 dive bombers or torpedo bombers, and 2 fighter plane. And remember, this jet plane is very weak against anti-aircraft ships or fighters, and it can easily wipe out just like the Balkan War. So it's not highly recommended for heavily anti-air map, especially in event maps. Also not recommended for cheap captains. For her modernization, you start filling her armor, because it's flight deck chest. Second, her firepower, for more teabagging. Then last, her AA for air cancer. Now you have your turkey. Go out there and start teabagging enemy bitches with the abomination dance to disrespect enemy bitches while clearing the historical cancer event and show the world that flat can bring justice while finding their favorite bully victim for their gimmick and rescuing the Donald Trump favorite waifu. Now I can see myself at
ネームシップは伊達じゃないの。さあ始めるわ。やっとアウトレンジしてあげるんだ。うりゃ攻撃対40前期反射ぐらいは伊達じゃないからね。始めましょう。打ち方始め。艦隊前進。追撃戦に移行します。さらに続ずいずいつづずずいずい魔法の言葉